Hello, Taurus, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're getting through the winter. I know here we're approaching the end of January, and I couldn't be more excited because I'm ready to be done with winter. It's cold. I don't want to be cold. I really like the warm weather, so I'm kind of counting the days till we get to the equinox here. All right, this will be your weekly reading for the week of January 25th through the 31st. And during that time, we will have a first quarter moon that comes in on the 26th. And a first quarter is kind of like a little mini full moon. It's where you might feel impulsive and impatient. Maybe your mind is a little bit active. It's just hard to get anything done. So just make sure, sometimes you might just be a little resistant about getting things, just working on things, or frustration that happens. So get through that day, because then we move into the waxing gibbous. And that is definitely a time for a deeper understanding and outlook where you're a little more calmed down. A good time to act on your intuition and introspection and be flexible in getting those things done that you're trying to accomplish. So just keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Taurus. So, as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is it's time to take action. All right, let's see what the Taurus Collective needs to take action on. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week, Taurus, is that you keep a spiritual journal. I know a lot of people just keep a journal, and you might actually just dedicate a little portion of your journal for this. Maybe a little paragraph at the end of your day if you're a journaler. But if not, a good spiritual journal all to itself is not a bad idea. Just writing down those things that you learn, those things, that experiences you're having. This could be where you would put, maybe dreams that seem significant. Write those down there. Different synchronicities that you're having, or numbers that you're seeing repeatedly. So it's just a good tool to be able to look back on those things, and kind of as you evolve, just look back and kind of see where you've been, and where you have evolved. What you've been working on, and what kind of effect of, what kind of change it's having an effect on you. So that is my fun weekly reminder, is that you keep a spiritual journal. All right, let's get into this reading here. Taurus, January 25th through the 31st. It's time to take action. Your present energy right now is the Seven of Swords. So, is something going on around you where, you feel like there's some cunning or craftiness, or maybe some sort of theft or hidden agenda? There could be, this could be any number of things, but maybe it's time to kind of look around you and assess some things and think, is everybody on the up and up around me right now? Is there something going on that I'm not aware of? Or, this could just be a sign that something that you were kind of feeling, maybe you do need to take a deeper look at. Your current situation right now is the Two of Wands. So, this is something about thinking about your future. And I immediately went to, if you're thinking about your future, and let's say we're thinking about that in terms of like your employment, and you're thinking of a position that maybe you want to go for. It's maybe a move up, and is there someone around you that maybe is kind of has a hidden agenda to kind of put a roadblock in front of you to keep that from happening? So that doesn't necessarily have to be what that is, but I feel it's that kind of situation. It's like you're wanting to move forward, and there's someone around you in some situation that's kind of putting a little roadblock up, for whatever reason. And it could be for their own agenda. It has nothing to do with you. It's something that they don't want you to do for their own personal gain and reasons. So just look around, I guess, a little bit this week. At the root of this situation is the Five of Swords. So, this is winning through deceit or underhanded tactics. Is there someone around you that's being deceitful or being underhanded in some way? And again, I'm feeling, the work vibe is coming through, even though I don't see any indicators of that. But it's kind of my example that I'm using, is just make sure you're watching your back. I always say that you have to you have to cover your own butt in any, especially work situations. There can be people some people just aren't nice, and they will do things that are underhanded, and it's just not very nice. So if you're a nice person, you do have to kind of look around and be like, what is going on here anyway? But just watch your back, I think. is kind of the theme so far I'm getting. What is in your recent past? Here is your strength card. So, you're very strong. You have a strong personality, and I feel like you could handle whatever this situation is. I feel like you could look this person in the eye and say, cut it out, and they would, right? It's that kind of situation. What is on your mind this week is the Temperance card, which is very good. This is you just being very balanced about this. This is you, this is the angel on our shoulder that's saying, eh, that's saying those nice things. It's not the devil saying, yeah, you should go get that person and you should, blah, 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 blah. It's the angel that's like, look, be nice. There must be some reason why they're doing this thing. Maybe we're going to just let it go and see what happens a little bit. But I do feel like you're strong enough to look this head on. And again, if it's time to take action, it is time to take action. Can you do that? And you don't have to be mean spirited about it. You can be very direct and angelic at the same time, so I'm sure you can do that. What is just ahead of you this week is kind of just looking at the seeds that you've planted, and there's nothing really you can do. They're just there. And maybe you planted some of these seeds that are doing this, and you're kind of realizing, oh, my action made this person feel this particular way, and that's why they're kind of coming after me or and being underhanded around me. So make sure that you are at least aware of your own involvement when it comes to that. And, we all do that. And sometimes it's very innocent, and, it could be that something you said got misconstrued or just some way. So make sure that you, if there's some responsibility that you have into it, at least recognize it. There's no reason for someone to act in this manner and to act, to do things behind your back. That's not very nice. But there could be some reason where they, there's some jealousy towards you, or there's something going on that but just kind of under the surface that maybe you caused, but innocently, right? It's just who you are, and they're kind of taking things the wrong way. I hope that made sense. In your advice position is the star card. So, the star card is about being on course. This is about being guided to, when they say it's written in the stars, this is kind of just a situation that you get yourself in because it's just kind of a fated situation. And I'm going to insert here too, sometimes we are a player in someone else's drama that we don't completely understand. And by that, I mean that there may be something that someone has to learn through us that we're not completely aware of why we're placed in these weird, uncomfortable positions. And sometimes it takes years to look back and go, oh, okay, did this person learn something from me through that? I was just kind of an innocent bystander. And sometimes that's what the star card is about, where we travel in these circles, right, in these social circles and these work circles, and there's people around us and things happening. And just like you might learn a lesson just by observing someone, they also might learn a lesson about something about themselves by observing you. Did that make sense? I hope so. What is beyond your control this week is your sense of humor with the Page of Cups. So it's been under control, I feel like, to just kind of laugh this off a little bit, even that, like, wow, I can't believe that this person is doing all of this about me, right? And it's kind of funny. um so again, I don't know where I can't, I'm not getting a feel for where this is. For some of you, this will be a family situation. For some of you, it might be a friend situation. For some of you, it could be a work situation. But I do feel like there's just something above, something behind the scenes going on, has to do with you. And I do think you're innocent in the whole thing, and you're going to find the whole thing funny eventually when it comes out. But you may need to just kind of put the word out to someone and be like, we're not doing that anymore. Does that make sense? I hope. I keep saying that because I understand the situation, but it's very, very hard to explain this. All right, secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Queen of Cups. I hope it's your secret desire. This is just being very stable emotionally through all of this. This is, really that Temperance card, holding your balance through all of it, not getting too excited or too upset about it. This is using that Strength card. You are strong enough to handle this, what's going on. And again, it might be that you are just the player in someone else's thing that they need to learn. Like, you're the example of it. And it could just be that you're the example of patience and kindness and temperance and humor when things get tough, right? And maybe they're learning that through you. You just have to kind of manage it. Also with the Queen of Cups, which I hope is your secret desire. I doubt if you're trying to avoid being very emotionally stable, but it's also about understanding, and not only your emotions but also the people around you, and kind of understanding, oh, that's why that person acted that way, because they're this way and this thing affected them. That you're able to kind of see that your constituents, the people around you, and how they're acting emotionally and why. It's not only that you can see, but it's like you understand the reasons why they're acting a particular way. Did that make sense too? So really need to stop saying that. That's going to be the title of your videos. Did this make sense? In your outcome position, Taurus, is look at you celebrating with the Three of Cups. So I think by the end of it, and hopefully this includes this person that had some kind of underlying something, that by the end of it, you're still friends, you're still celebrating. It's almost like you clear up the misunderstanding, and you make peace with it. But it is time to take action. That was your overall message card with this. What is hidden from you this week is the Knight of Wands. So, no fiery, passionate action. I do feel like this is very calm and plain, and taken with a sense of humor. I don't see anybody getting super, super excited, and that is a really good thing. I mean, everyone I see here is, look at how many people are looking to the left of this reading. This one's kind of looking back over their shoulder. Everybody's looking to the left again, celebrating at the end, because I feel like it just kind of all works out. Is this a major thing? Not really. We do have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards. A 3 and 4 is kind of borderline for me, whether it's something that you're learning. And I will say once again, I feel like it's someone else learning through you. I don't know why that's coming through, but it's kind of be the example of this week. Be the example of being calm through pressure. Just be that person. Someone else, I think, needs to see that in you this week. All right, final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message here for Taurus. Quietly serve. Yeah, quietly do your thing. Just be who you are. That's all you can really do this week. Again, if you need to confront this person, I think you will. And I think you'll do it in a kind manner, and that you will be laughing about it in the end. All right, what do you need to do in the way of self-care? Self-care for Taurus this week, January 25th through the 31st. And the card that you get is the card that says move. A long walk is good for the soul. Get outside and allow Mother Nature to lift your spirits. So yeah, if you're kind of feeling it, if there's some sort of tension, again, this could be a family situation. This could be a work situation. Maybe it's time to just get out in nature a little bit, touch grass a little, get away from the situation. It might help you be strong about it. It might also, help you with that temperance and your sense of humor about it. But again, I think by the end of the week, everybody's happy back together. We see that it was a misunderstanding, and we're just kind of celebrating with each other and lightening up and having a good time. So Taurus, thank you so much for being here today. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if this resonated with you, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, if you hit like and subscribe, it makes it easier for you to find me next week, and I would like that so much. So thanks for joining me again, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.